We didn't want to do a normal youth takeover service this time. With back to school coming, we wanted to bring more of a panel live podcast discussion about what these teens go through. It's hard for us to really know what's going through the minds of our teens. We tend to be in the older generation and just kind of look down on them, mention their mistakes, but and there's a division between our generations, and I really want that to fix. And to fix that, you talk. You figure it out, you talk, you help each other understand where each other's coming from, and then we work it out from there. So that's what we wanted to do today. So we're going to start off with some introductions. Name, grade, maybe school. Start with Bethany.
Hi, I'm Bethany. I'm going into junior year, and I go to Centerville High School.
I'm Sophia. I'm 15 years old, and I'm going into 10th grade at Springboro.
Hi, I'm Caleb. I'm going into my senior year at the Warren County Career Center.
Hello, I'm Lincoln, and I'm going into my sophomore year at the Springboro High School.
All right, yeah.
Maybe you should introduce yourself too.
Right. You guys nervous? A little bit no? All right. Well, I'm Pastor Devin. I'm the middle school pastor here.
Yep.
And
Pastor Kevin, I'm over the high school.
yeah, I'm going into 7th grade, so yeah.
Yep. I'm in 8th grade.
All right. So we'll start off here. This is a question that we want all you guys to answer here. So if you could summarize your age group's mental state, how would you explain it? For example, what are the challenges, fears, worries in life? What is a common discussion among your peers?
I'd say the mental state of my generation, or a lot of my peers that I know of, would be discord and chaos and almost disunity or fear. And a common fear that I know a lot of people in my grade and just in my school face is the fear of being alone and the fear of missing out. So they have to change themselves, and that creates a lot of anxiety due to that change, because no human is really used to change, especially change that fast.
I used to go to the Springboro High School with Lincoln, and I can kind of say the same thing as a lot of them. They have a very poor mental state because they just have a competition to see who's suffering more, and then their focus is just in their things and what they have. So
I would describe our generation's mental state as just constantly striving for other people and living for other people, and other people does not include God. We don't even live for ourselves. Sometimes we do, but it's never for God, and we're always just chasing after like validation from others, of like thinking, oh, like, is this weird or not, and always wondering, like always trying to change ourselves and always wondering what we can change about ourselves.
Yeah, what they said, just really seeking validation from other people, and it's like what the hardest, who can party the hardest, who can bring the most fun and joy to the table. Especially like in high school, it's really hard to like fit in. Not saying that you like have to fit in, but like it's more comfortable when you do fit in. But yeah, our mental state is not that good. I feel like a lot of people in our generation find comfort in dwelling in the state that we're in, and whether that state is like pure joy, or like a lot of people that I go to high school with, just like sadness, and just not like necessarily like sadness, but like just like a heaviness. We find comfort in dwelling in that state of mind, because a lot of us don't like finding true joy is rare for a lot of people in my generation.
That's pretty deep, Bethany. No, that's good. That's exactly what we need. Want to aim this next one over to Caleb. What do you feel passionate about? What does your culture feel passionate about?
I feel like my culture doesn't really have a passion. They just kind of live in the moment and just kind of whatever makes them feel good. I don't remember who said it. I'm pretty sure it's Devin, but not 100%. Like a microwave society, just instant. So it's like whatever's happening in the moment, that's just what they want. Whereas I know myself, I'm just more focused on doing what I can here, and then I'm just trying to keep my head down and work so I can get on my own feet.
Anyone want to add to that? What you feel like your culture is, your schools, your friends are passionate about? Bethany's going to have an answer for everything.
I feel like we're really, really passionate about each other because just the way we grow up, a lot of our parents are separated, and a lot of us don't have figures that we want to be like close figures like moms, dads, grandpas. So I feel like we're really passionate about each other, especially like in our youth group, we love each other like we are family because like nobody really knows where we come from, like from each other. So whether you are vulnerable or not, which it's okay if you are not in that place yet. But even like when I started coming here, like nobody knew what I was going through, and I still found peace, and I felt loved, like because I found a community that I know was going to be there for me. So I think we're like each other's family, whether we like to admit it or not.
That's good. So take that same thought, but what is something in your culture that everybody finds attractive, everybody's drawn to, but you know is not good for your spirit? I want to throw that question over to Sophie.
So there's a lot of things. It goes characteristics or personality-wise, and then of course like the given that everyone is like, it's obvious, the drugs and alcohol and vaping and everything along that line, like partying. And a lot of people are finding comfort in like partying and stuff, and they lose everything. Like down the line, they don't think about the future. They're just thinking about, oh yeah, like I'm gonna have fun now, and then they don't think about the consequences, even in like a day, like what could happen. And along that, they can lose their friends, they can lose their family, and then they can lose themselves. And people find comfort in it. People, they think that they can't have fun or be happy without it. And it's so sad to see how many people in our generation, even like younger, like I'll hear about 6th graders doing all this, and like it's just so influenced and common, and people, will post about it acting like it's nothing and that it's just normal. And with the characteristics and personality-wise, people want to act like being nonchalant and having no emotions, being heartless, that it's a good thing because you will they think it'll protect themselves, because it's like, oh yeah, like if I get like in a relationship with someone and I'm just like nonchalant, I don't give emotions, then I can't get hurt because the emotions that I won't give, like they can't hurt it. But in reality, that just, makes us blank. It doesn't make us anything. It doesn't get us anywhere. It'll actually make people draw away from us and God and ourselves. And that's what the devil wants. He wants us to be heartless. He doesn't want to show love like Jesus. Jesus wants us to be nice. He wants to be kind. He wants us to show the love of him through us and to others. So
I mentioned this in the first service just to bring a little bit of awareness, and it does seem like it's getting younger and younger, as Sophie just said, 6th grade. Out of a percentage of your students at your schools, how many take part in some type of, whether it's vaping or weed or cards, whatever? What's your percentage, you guys think?
like a lot, because I was new last year and I didn't know, I knew probably 2 people that did it just because they were really obvious. But then, you know, out of all those months out of the school year, like 2 months before the school year was ending, I found out like how many people did it. I still am gonna find out who does it, cause I'm just like, oh, cause like, you know, I'll like be closer to people, and then they'll tell me, they're like, oh, like, do you smoke? Like, that's just like a new thing to ask. Like, if I'll be feeling like I'll have like a good conversation with someone, and then it's like, oh, do you smoke? I'm like, it just like ruins the whole thing. It ruins everything. So it's like a lot, and I don't know everyone at my school, especially since it's huge. But like in my grade, like over half.
I'd say probably a little bit less than half, around 45%. And it's such a big problem because they had to install vape detectors last year, which didn't work at all. And a lot of people that I looked up to and didn't really know much about, I saw vaping, and it really changed my opinion about them. And because it changed my opinion negatively, I can only imagine how it would change others' opinions about them. Thinking, hey, if my idol, not idol, but someone I look up to, if someone I look up to is doing this thing in particular, I want to be like them, so I want to do this thing like them. So it's just spreading more and more from the older grades to the younger grades to younger kids looking up to their upperclassmen, thinking that they want to be just like them if they want to succeed just like them.
Yeah, I think here's another question that's kind of separate. What grade did you start noticing that people are doing some really stupid stuff, some really bad things that I know are wrong? What grade did you feel like that started happening?
The third?
Say, good.
The third.
Third grade?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is something that I wanted to touch on. When we normalize things in our homes, our kids see that as normal. Even our kids as young as third grade, they see it as normal. And this can be families who aren't Christian, families who, broken families, they see their dad smoking. So they think, okay, this is a normal thing to do. And as third graders, they're going to copy what they see. And that comes into our schools, and that comes into our Christian families, because we have friends who smoke or who vape, who do all these kinds of things because it's been normalized. So these third graders, isn't that crazy? Third grade. It gets younger and younger because we've normalized it. Normalized certain things in our society. We watch movies about it all the time, and our kids see it. But, all right, well, we can go to the next question here. I'm going to throw this one. Let's give this one to Bethany. So, given the current climate, do you feel safe at school? And is there anything that we can do to help you feel safer?
Yes and no. I would say more towards no, because just because of like all the school shootings and stuff like that, like at the end of like April, maybe May, before school let out, there was like more school shootings. Like the average a day was 2.34 school shootings a day, and that is something that really, really breaks my heart, because your kids should not have to fear getting an education. We shouldn't have to go to school with a death sentence above our head, and because school is supposed to be like, okay, we don't really like school, but I'm one person that really, really cares about my education, because I just want to do better for myself. But yeah, there's that, and like mentally, I know I personally had a very good support system in my school, but that's in school, like my teachers. But like being in high school and seeing what people are going through at home, like people's homes lives are so like devastating. Like there's so many people that come to school like either high or drunk, or like their parents were abusing them 35 minutes before school started, like, and they have to go to school with that. So not only do we have like teachers' lives going on, we're also having like to deal with each other, because I'm going through through something, she's going through something, we're all going through something. Nobody knows what it is, but we're all like taking it out on each other, or we're just hiding it. And yeah.
Does anyone else want to add to what she said? So another thing that I know, talking to a lot, especially some of the younger ones in our middle school, a lot of them struggle with being bullied and struggle with people calling them names, being really mean to them at school. And that's another reason why people don't feel safe at school. That can be a huge reason why kids don't want to go to school. So what would you guys do if you were on the bad side of being bullied? And what do you do for your friends if you see them being bullied? What are things that you do that helps if you're getting bullied or if you see a friend?
You know the phrase, kill people with kindness? So if you see someone getting bullied in the moment, you should obviously stand up for the victim. But outside of that situation, if you see the bully, just say, hi, how are you? Good morning. How's your day? How's your life? Because you don't know what people are going through behind their back. So they might be showing how they're feeling. Or, well, then just kill them with kindness. Because that's the most useful or potent thing you could do to a bully.
That's really good. One thing I want to mention is we, the older generation, when we got bullied, it was in our faces at school. The students now, it's not like that. The way I said it earlier was they could go to sleep one night and then wake up in the morning with their whole life turned upside down because of a text message or a picture that they weren't aware of that was taken. Anything like that. So they're fighting a crazy different battle when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it probably, doesn't help if they're feeling that way and they don't have anybody to turn to for help, and it's all being, mounting inside your own minds, and you just got this battle in your minds all the time. And what we have is students not being able to regulate how they're feeling, and next thing you know, they're getting in their parents' gun cabinet. So that we need to be aware of that and teach our students how to get those emotions out, talk about them, help them with that battle that's going on inside their mind.
Yeah, a big thing that I see too is that we have this mentality of I have to stick up for myself, I got to fight back. When Jesus taught, and there's a time for self-defense for sure, but Jesus taught turn the other cheek. Jesus taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves. Jesus taught us when he was on the cross, when he said, God forgive them for they know not what they do, to forgive those who persecute us, because people will. That's what I teach to my middle schoolers. That's what Lincoln said, kill them with kindness. Show the love of Christ to them. It's the most important thing you could do. So that's what we need to be teaching our kids, is love these people who are being mean to you. It's not them. They're coming from broken homes. They're hurting too. It's up to us to show them the love of Christ.
Lincoln, how are you feeling about the future?
I'm not really confident in the future because, like Bethany said last service, people have microwave mentalities where if they don't get it now, it's never going to happen. People aren't getting an education. People aren't getting jobs because they don't believe in their future. If it's not happening in the moment, they don't want it. So them not believing in their future makes me feel kind of insecure about my generation's future because the majority of them are sitting at home, not being self-disciplined, not getting jobs, not getting an education, and they're just going to let the world fall to pieces because they're not putting in their work, they're not dragging their weight.
That's good. Bethany, does your age group feel supported?
I feel like this is a good question. I feel like I'm leaning towards no because we get criticized so much because like it's everybody's like 50-50, like, oh, our generation is gonna save the world or this generation is gonna end the world, and that's all we ever hear. And it's like, if you don't have faith in us, how are we supposed to have faith in ourselves? Because we are learning from you. And I don't know, honestly.
Does anybody else want to add on or have anything they want to say? If you feel supported, do you feel good about where you guys are? All right. So I'm going to throw this to Caleb. Is God or religion something frequently talked about among your peers? And we can even add on to that. Is God something that is on the minds of people your age and friends that you have?
No. That's not a very common thing that's really brought up in school, just because people don't really care, or they're just timid, or just want to go out and about and do their own thing. They don't want to think deeper because they know that will kind of uproot problems that they have that they don't want to deal with.
So everybody's looking for something bigger, right? We all have something inside of us that wants to worship God. And we've touched on a few things that we might cover up that need for God with something else. So do you think there is a need or a want or desire to serve someone like God, to be a part of something like church with people in your school? I'll throw that to Lincoln.
There is a need that people need to participate in the church, but there's not necessarily a want. People have that hole in their heart, and they realize they want something or they need something, but they don't realize that need is Jesus Christ. So they fill that hole in their heart with worldly things like drugs, alcohol, porn, sex, maybe even other people's gratification, or just bad influences like bad friends. And they fill that hole with all those things. And in the moment, they get that dopamine hit. They get that what they need. But it goes away in the next second, and they realize they have that hole in their heart, and that hole might have been stretched. That wound might be bigger, so it'll take longer to heal, and they don't realize that they need Jesus Christ. They just want.
I think that's something with our generation can connect with their generation, is that old internal argument you have with ourselves about when you become a Christian, you got to give up all your fun. You know, and I think that's why a lot of teens hold back, or they don't want to, go towards God, is because they have that internal conflict in their head. I mean, how many of us, when we were a teenager, prayed, Lord Jesus, don't come back until I get my license and I know what it's like to drive. Please don't come back until I've got to experience this or that. It's that internal conflict thinking that with God you lose fun. And that's where we need to show them that that's absolutely not true. And you have more fun, and you have true joy. Yeah. So,
Sophie, I kind of want to throw a question to you. Do you feel like it is hard to share your faith at school? Or maybe you see a youth student that you haven't seen before here at church. You see him come in. Do you feel like it is difficult for you to go up and talk to that person? Is it difficult to share your faith with people who might not have the same faith with you?
It is, like, at school, and, like, on social media, I will, like, post about God. So it's not like I'm hiding it and, like, I wear my cross necklace 24/7. But that's another thing. A lot of people in our generation just wear crosses because I think that it, like, looks cool. But I'm, like, trying to be outspoken about it. But I think this is, like, one of the questions that I'm kind of, like, going to, where I feel like I don't know enough to, like, actually have, like, a conversation, because obviously we're all gonna have doubts, like, and especially me being young, not that's an excuse, but like, I just started to get closer and connect to God more, and disconnecting from, like, bad influences and, like, worldly values. And I'm kind of like a fresh Christian, so it's hard to like, really, because I believe in God. It's just, I don't have the words yet to express, that he's, like, real, because, of course, people will always have something to say, like, oh, he's not real. Like, I know I was one of those people, like, when I first got here, they know how rude I have been to them. Like, I was not, cheery and everything. I was just more like, hey. And they know that, like, Kevin especially, I was talking to him, like, a year ago. I was just like, I really just don't like it here. And I told Devin, I was like, I just don't believe in the Bible. Like, I was not trying to hide it, but they did not give up. They were always there. They took it, and thank you for taking that. I'm very sorry for all of my attitude. And I'm, like, rambling, but to sum it all up, I know Jesus is real. I feel him, and I want to share that with other people, and that is something that I have been struggling with, because I'm like, I want to bring my friends to God, because my friends are different religions, like they're Muslim and like different, I forget what it's called, but it's like Indian, and I want to show them to God, but I just don't know how yet, but I'm just going to need to seek guidance from God, and I'll show.
Yeah. So you want to be able to learn what to say to these people, right? Yeah. Last question. We just have like 3 minutes, guys. Just FYI. No, you're good. It's not your fault. This is much needed. Since you all have everyone's attention right now, is there anything that you all want to say to your church family on how you can help you, your culture, or anything? Nothing's off limits. Go for it.
I would say to new and up-and-coming parents, or parents in general, is to watch your tongue, because words you say to your child may not, well, you may intend something different, but I know that I hurt myself and I've hurt my parents by taking something as they've said it, not how they intended it. So I've taken those words to heart, and I've felt the pain because my parents had maybe one wrong word in a sentence, or maybe they forgot to say a word, or maybe they just completely said it with a completely different intention, which has led to a lot of hurt in my life and probably my parents as well.
I know one thing is this is not just our generation. I think this has been going on for just something that has been, is that people like to come to church and then leave it on Sunday mornings. They don't take it with them throughout the week. They completely forget about it. They just come, get their recharge like it's a cup of coffee or something. And I think that's something that, like I said, not just this generation, but all the ones before us, is something that we would like to work on.
It's good.
What I have to say to my church family is to never give up on us and just keep pushing. Even though you think like you lost all hope, my dad especially knows the past 3 years how much it has been a roller coaster, and how much he has been there for me, how the church family has been there for me. So just, take that and just think about it. Just don't give up hope on anyone.
I would just want to say, like, keep showing up, kind of like what she said. But this is kind of for parents, because we hear what you say, not only about us, but about each other, about your spouse, about yourself, because I know that I grew up in a single-parent household most of the time. And whether your parents are separated, we hear, like, what you say about our other parent, like mom's criticizing dad, dad's criticizing mom. And show love to us. Like, keep showing up, keep showing love. And one thing that I said earlier, which I didn't realize I said it until I said it, but we don't need criticized, we need corrected. If, like, the first thing you come to us and it's like you messed up, like, we're not gonna take that like, oh, they want to help me. It's, oh, they hate me and I messed that up and they're never gonna love me again. But like the tone that you have is so important, because whether you're coming from love or whether, like, your intentions doesn't matter if we're not seeing it as like you're showing us love more than like you're making me look bad. But yeah, talk to us with kindness, treat us with kindness, treat everybody with kindness, and most of all, treat yourself with kindness, because I also said this earlier, I watched my mom growing up. I thought I still think she is. She's the greatest person of all time, besides Jesus. She is the kindest, bravest, most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. And I watched her growing up criticize herself on every little thing, on her looks, her personality. And that taught me that if other people are calling me the most beautiful, the bravest, the kindest person, then I have to think that way about myself. Because I watch my mom criticize herself. I watch my sister and my brothers even criticize themselves. And like, I look up to these people, like my brothers and my mom and my sister. I look up to them so much, more than they know. And I watch them beat themselves up. And I'm like, I need to beat myself up over the things that they beat themselves up over, because even though they look at me and I look at them with pride and like I'm so proud of them and they're so proud of me, but they're not proud of themselves, I can't be proud of myself either. So, yeah.
Paul said to Timothy, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. I pray that us as a church, we do not look down on these teens, but we encourage them, we lift them up, we correct them when they need corrected, but we don't ever, shame them or make them feel like they're less than. They need to be encouraged. So what they said is so important. They hear everything that you say. They see everything you write on Facebook and Instagram and all that. Love them. Encourage them.